Welcome to the channel. In this one we're taking a look at another post-rotation match. So this is Temporal Forces onwards ahead of EUIC. These are all just to test decks as there aren't any tournaments before then. So we're doing as much playtesting as possible. The deck lists are on the channel. There's some gameplay. So if you do want to see more of it, make sure you click up here somewhere. Or just subscribe, click on the channel, go through the videos. In this one we've got Arceus and Friends versus Gholdengo. Gholdengo has proved to be one of, if not the best decks heading into the new format. I think with Path gone and new things like Cryptomaniac, it's just so much more powerful. The list we're playing for Gholdengo is pretty much the Palkia version. The Workers replaced by the Crypto, so you can just stack the top of your deck, draw 2 cards you need, and then you could potentially draw 10 other cards with other effects. There's Greninjas, there's other Gholdengos, there's Pokestop. So there's a ton of different ways to play this deck. I think Cryptomaniac is the key to this deck, and it's only really lost, I think, one match of maybe like 10 so far. So it is very powerful. The other deck list I'll flash up on screen now. I'm not going to go too heavily into it, but basically Goodra's there to tank shots from stuff like Charizard. The Vulpix just shuts out pretty much all of the metagame currently. There is no deck that I can think of that uses attackers without abilities. So if you can get it set up, if they can't get around it, you can win games. You can use Turo, you can use Sharon's Care and other stuff to pick up your Pokemon. You've got the ponchos, so they can't boss around it. So there's a few different ways just to trap them, as you'll see in this video. Before we get into the match, I should say, you'll notice so the Gholdengo player starts, but I forgot to hit record. So the Buddy Poffins played, they get a load of stuff down, the Poker stopped, and then it's the Arceus turn. So that's what you're seeing here. So you miss a few minutes, it's fine. Let's get into it. So as I mentioned there, it is Arceus's turn here. Poffin played on the other side, a few Gimmighouls set up, and it is the Goodra V to go on the bench. Doesn't look like there's much else in hand, maybe not even a supporter this turn. So we do need to make sure that Arceus survives the turn at least. There is at least an attachment. Very important playing Arceus, and the water energy does go on. We are going to see a switch again, maybe just to protect the Arceus so you can get the V-Star the following turn, and the Poncho goes on there. So V-Star and Goodra V in hand. I guess Manaphy could retreat here and we could see Gholdengo attack, so that's probably safe. Just keep the Arceus on the bench. It's your best way of drawing cards, just finding the cards you need. Although you need so much. Just one of the problems I have found with this deck, and it is a problem we're going to change with the deck list, is you just can't get your Pokemon out quick enough. You've got 4 Nest Ball, which is good. Ultra Ball's fine for basic, you kind of want to save them for the evolves. And then other than that, you could play Great Ball or Aroma, so we are going to squeeze some of them into the list. It's just not being able to use the Buddy Poffins, losing the VIP pass does hurt this deck a bit, so it's a little harder to set up. But a lot of the time you do only need an Arceus, you need maybe like a Vulpix, and you're good to go, honestly. The only issue is when you lose one of those early on, and it makes it a little more difficult to get set up as the game goes on. And this is what we've seen in most games with Gholdengo in playtesting. It just flies. It's so easy to set up. There's no path to stop it. Obviously, Arceus would be running path if there was. And you can just see just coin bonus after coin bonus, drawing cards. Buddy Poffin in hand, not even needed here. There is a few energy in the discard, so we could see a Superior come down here. I think we could potentially see a knockout. Maybe not wanting to knock it out entirely, because then the Arceus can get back into the active. Just seeing what we see here. So it is going to be the Palkia and a Earthen Vessel. I think the Palkia, was it already down? We are going to see the Poffin thrown away, not even needed. Just can see so many cards. We've seen, what's that, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 cards drawn without a supporter by Gholdengo here. It just gets silly. And the fact there's no path to the peak to stop it anymore means, yeah, it can be very difficult to deal with. With a Crypto as well, just stacking the top of the deck, choosing any 2 cards you need, whenever you need them, can just be devastating. Especially with Prime Catcher in the list, so you can still boss or gust. So it's just such a powerful effect for this deck. I think we might see a knockout here. We could see the Superior to see a knockout. It depends if they want to use one. The thing is, they're so far ahead here, they don't even have to. We are going to see an attach for turn, and we're just going to see a poke for 50. It does mean they can get the full effect of the Superior the following turn. And like I say, there's not really much going on for Arceus here. We are going to see the bench. We're going to see the V-Star come down. and the VStar evolve in the active. I don't even know what you want here. So there's a few different ways. You can either go attach, switch, and swing into the Gholdengo, set up your Goodra, or you go for a supporter and you hope to hit the cards you need. If you don't hit them, you probably just lose. I don't really like any option here. I guess, yeah, but you don't want to play Judge because you're not getting enough cards. Iono maybe would be good here. If they're taking a prize, Iono would be very nice here. So very smart not to take one. And it is just going to be a rough decision here. I don't know which way you go with this. If I can remember these games right, both games the Arceus has to make a similar decision. And I think they choose one direction the first one and one direction the other. So we will see both choices play out and see which was the correct one. Although, taking an Iono, it is down to luck. So the deck's still full as well. We've not managed to thin anything out. So neither really feels good here. Just going back and forth, looking through the deck. Even eyeing up a Turo there instead of a switch. I actually don't mind. It means we can save the switch for later on. We're not playing a supporter this turn, so it makes sense. And I think it might have been a Turo that was grabbed there. It does mean we can just scoop it up. All damage is gone. And we can reset it. Attack, get some energy onto it. If it gets bossed up, then that is an issue. But it does... okay, so it was the switch taken anyway. And the Goodra is going to go to the bench. We're going to see 180 onto Gholdengo. There's a lot of energy in there already, and the hand is absolutely packed from Gholdengo. And I think it's just going to have to be the attack. We do see a boss, so maybe eyeing up a boss here. Potentially trap Palkia. Okay, so it is just going to be the attack and the setup onto the Goodra. If they can get the Goodra in play or back into the active. Oh, I can see the boss lined up already for Gholdengo. It's going to be a quick response here, so we can see the boss. The Palkia comes down. I think you have to boss before the Goodra attacks. And it is going to be Pokestop. Losing one of the Cryptomaniacs there, unfortunately, but seeing some other cards is always good. Gholdengo drawing more cards. Counter Catcher not quite online, so it would have to be the boss this turn. Keeps coming to the top of the hand, so I imagine we are going to see it played. So many cards. And it is going to be Irida instead. So this could be interesting where they go with this turn. We're going to see a Vessel, maybe just not have enough energy in hand, although we did see Superior. We're going to Vessel away, a Puffin. Obviously all set up here, don't really need much unless we see some knockouts. But so far that's not been the case. What Gholdengo is doing here, it's thinning out his deck every time. It's taking these energies out and then setting up the later turn. So they've not used any Superior yet. They're just getting the energy out of the deck. Then once it's all in the discard pile, the deck is entirely empty. They'll just have Superiors and they can just continually reuse those and just take knockout after knockout. And it's what we've seen in all of our testing with Gholdengo. Just seems very powerful without any answer to it. And we are going to see... So it's just going to be a clean knockout into the Arceus, which is... It's crazy it's managed to do that from a couple of cards there. Just so many cards drawn, so many cards seen. And I think we are going to see the attack here. 3, 5, 6. And it is a clean knockout on Arceus. Goodra comes into the active here. And we're going to see a draw for turn. I can't work out what that card is. I think it's another Arceus, which is not good. Just a slow pause here. And not really sure what to do. I think it might be over already. This is... I don't want to say this is Arceus, but a lot of the time it can be Arceus. And we are seeing the Desperation Pokestop here. Throwing away 3 cards. Getting down another Arceus maybe. I'm not sure there's much point benching it, honestly. Just gives Gholdengo another attacker, but yeah, Gholdengo is going to be able to go around this. Goodra does take a knockout here, so it's 2 prizes. But Gholdengo isn't going to need much, and we see the extra Gholdengo come down. So no doubt we'll see Gimmighoul this turn. We do see a Super Rod there, able to reuse some of the Pokemon that are already gone. And it is going to be Gholdengo to draw 2. Draw another one, why not? How many cards in hand now? Probably more cards in hand than the deck. We are going to see Greninja here draw 2 more cards, I think. Maybe. Just eyeing it up. Maybe wanting to save some of that energy. That's one of the things with Gholdengo, just keeping a track of where your energy is. Do you need a superior? Do you need a vessel? And it is going to be superior here. Throwing away some cards to get 4 energy. So Goodra obviously reduces damage, meaning they've got 50 damage. Now, here we go. So we're going to need, is it 6 or 5? That's a lot to ask. I think they've already got it in hand though. We're going to see attach for turn. Is there enough energy? It looks like 4, might be 5. There is plenty more in the discard. And they're not even going to have to boss around this Goodra. I think the only answer for Gholdengo in this deck is the Vulpix, because they can just hit any number they want. So the Arceus is, you can't really Sharons. It's what this deck tries to do. If you can't knock it out in a hit, it can just recycle their attackers. But Gholdengo can knock anything out in a hit, so yeah, it's kind of a rough matchup. Once the Vulpix set up, I do think it is in favor of Arceus. Like, there's nothing in this deck that can attack, so yeah, it's very much if Arceus can set up in this matchup. And in this match, it hasn't. We will be playing another one right afterwards. So don't go anywhere. We are going to see an Ultra Ball. Get rid of some of those cards. Probably be losing some energy there. I'm guessing there's another superior, or we can maybe grab some more. There is at least one in deck. I think there's another one in hand. Yeah, there it is. There's the other one. So we're going to see 6 energy in hand, which is going to get a knockout onto this Goodra. Not from the deck there, just from the discard. And we are going to see Make It Rain for 3. 6 energy the first turn or their second turn. 6 energy the following turn. This deck can just pump out energy. It's so powerful. And I do think now is the time. If you're thinking of playing Gholdengo in the upcoming format, pick them up, because they're probably just going to go up and up in price. I do think it's in a really good spot in the next format, especially from what we've tested. We do see the Vulpix come down. I would say a few turns too late at this point, unless there's no way to even like Sharons the Arceus. If we didn't put the second one down, we could Turo it, attach to Vulpix. Yeah, it's not going to get an attack off. There's no way. There's no way we're going to... Yeah, it's just too late at this point. This match comfortably going to go over to go... Oh, we do see a panic stop, and we do get 2 hits off it. It's not terrible. We do see a Bibarel there. Obviously not able to use that this game, which doesn't help. Seeing more cards is always good, especially in this deck. All of the energy. So there's 1 superior, 2, 3. There's 1 more superior to be used. I think that is it. The thing is here, you need to set up the Vulpix. So you kind of want a Trinity charge. We are going to see 3 go back into the deck, and then 3 attached to Vulpix. Okay, I'm in an R in here. I don't know where else the energy would go, and it is onto the Vulpix. We're going to see Gholdengo come down. Crypto set up the top 2 cards. And we are going to see the superior, no doubt. Very quick there. I didn't actually see what was taken. But obviously Gholdengo coin bonus will draw 2 of them. And we will see them played shortly anyway. So I think we are all done here. Okay, so 1 was an NG, 1 was a superior. I think either way, it's a clean knockout here. Just counting how many cards left in deck, not wanting to deck out. I think they can just win with the 2 cards they've got though. So we do see the Prime Catcher used as well. Slightly less energy needed. I think they can easily knock out the Arceus anyway. Just drawing, just seeing what the deck can do, just seeing what cards it can see. And just eyeing up this knockout. So there's 2 in hand, 4 from the superior. And there we go. That is going to see the end of this game. Gholdengo taking 2 prizes comfortably, using 6 energy every turn without a problem, really. Is that 6, 7? Either way, easy knockout onto the Arceus. We are going into game 2. Gholdengo taking a very comfortable lead there. Let's see if Vulpix can get set up in the next one and make it slightly closer. Okay, straight into this one. Arceus obviously choosing to go first here. 1 extra card on the side of Gholdengo. Arceus not able to draw a basic. We do see the attach, so we're looking okay here. We're looking very similar to last time though. Even looking at the hand, it looks identical almost. I did have to double check I didn't somehow replay the first match. No, it is a different match. Again, almost an identical start on the side of Arceus. We are going to see a ton of energy flood into play here. One discarded by Vessel and 2 more in hand. No doubt Greninja trying to get those to the discard pile. I don't think Greninja's a great attacker in this match. Obviously not really being able to. It can soften stuff up, but things like Vulpix it can't damage unless it's on the bench. Stuff like Gudra, the reducement just means it's just not worth using. So we do want to see Gholdengo set up. You could potentially use the Palkia to attack with itself, which I actually don't mind in this matchup. It can hit some good numbers. Depending what's set up here, because not many Pokemon currently on the side of Arceus. We are going to Ultra Ball away Gholdengo here. Trying to find the Gimme Ghoul, I'm guessing. Seeing what's in deck. Not the start we saw last time. Not able to see a Buddy pop in. Just checking through the deck, seeing what's prized here. So it is attach and pass there from the Gholdengo player. Just able to retreat the Greninja here. Straight away the VStar coming in. Do we see the Gudra come down as well? As I mentioned, in the last game we went for the switch attack, which didn't really pay off. We didn't see enough cards. And we do see an Ultra Ball here. Maybe setting up a Bidoof or potentially the Vulpix, probably more importantly. Vulpix coming onto the bench here. And we are going to see the VStar whilst we're in there. I do think we're going to see... I'm sure we went the different route this time. Iono. I think Iono Turbo makes sense. Or Iono Switch. There's less Switch cards in the deck, but it does mean, yeah, you're a little less. Okay, so it is going to be Iono Turbo here. I mean, if you don't get the Switch, you're at least set up for the following turn. There's not much going on the side of Gholdengo. But if you could pull up that Gimme Ghoul, knock it out, they would be on the back foot here. We are going to see the Poncho come down onto Vulpix, and we're going to see a Iono for 6 here. Not great, because you are resetting the hand of the Gholdengo player, but we actually don't see much drawn there. We do see the Ultra Ball, 1 Gholdengo, so they'll be able to draw some cards at least, but not a terrible Iono. Nest Ball finding out Bidoof there, able to set the Bibarel up this turn, or this game at least. We'll give it some draw options, and don't see much else in hand. I do see a Judge for next turn at least. Obviously, with Squova and Bibarels, we can just see more cards. It's going to be the bench of the Palkia for Gholdengo. And we're going to see concealed cards for 2. Drawing into the Buddy Poff in there. And Gholdengo is once again up and running. Just planning out the turn here. Not playing the Poffin quite yet. We are going to see the Evolve into Gholdengo and the Poffin coming down. I assume searching 2 Gimme Ghouls here. Oh, okay, so it's just the one. That does mean we're going to see 2 Gimme Ghouls prized. That does mean there's less draw for Gholdengo, but it also means there's less attackers, so that really hurts this deck. Maybe potentially a Heavy Ball would be nice, just able to get some of those Gimme Ghouls out if you need them. And we do see 2 drawn here. Boss's Orders and the Crypto. But now Gholdengo is susceptible to an attack here. It's just sat in the active, not really going to attack this turn, I don't think. We do see Superior if they want to, but I think it might have just been a pass there. Not quite. Still just thinking out if they want to use anything here. And it is going to be the attach, so we might actually see some poke damage here. And the Superior is coming down, so we're going to see 4. So we're going to see 200 go onto Gudra, which is good. It does soften it and make an attack next turn much easier. And it's over to the side of Arceus here. Much more going on the board at least. If we could see a Tura or something here, things would actually be in favour of Arceus. Does look like we're going to see an attach. Bibarel coming down. So we want to thin this hand down as much as possible. Draw as many cards as we can. Is that a Judge? What? I can see an Energy Judge. I'm not sure what else is in hand here. We're going to see the attachment to the Vulpix. And we are going to see a Judge come down. Obviously draw 4 cards, can place them down, then Bibarel. That makes a lot of sense. We can just see more cards. We need to see a switch. It means we can't Turo now is the only downside. The hand must have been full of cards we don't really need, and that means Bibarel's not as effective here. It's going to be 4 from the top. Let's see what we get here. So another Judge for the following turn, but I don't know if I saw much else. We do see an Arceus, so that could go onto the bench, but there is an Ultra Ball as well. I think I like the Ultra Ball much better here. Go find the Vulpix VStar. Give it a little bit of extra health. Yeah, it's not the most... I think it's 240, so it's not really that healthy. It's only going to be 5 energy from the Gholdengo. I think it hits for weakness, actually, so maybe not even that. Here we go. It does just thin the hand as well. Actually going to be an Arceus here. I guess you don't want to use the V-Star in case it is knocked out. If it's knocked out, then you just lose it. Obviously not gaining any... It does mean you need a little bit of extra energy, but I don't think it's enough. And we are going to see some Bibarel action here for some more cards. More energy in hand, the mist energy. And I think it is just a pass with the Goodra stuck in the active. It is going to mean Gholdengo's not going to need much here. I think we are going to see the Greninja here for concealed cards. We're going to see another Buddy Poffin, but like I say, not much use when all of your Gimme Ghouls are prized. So I do think a heavy ball in this deck would be nice. We are going to see Crypto though, so it can just stack the top of its deck. Going for that Gholdengo, protecting the other Gimme Ghoul makes a lot of sense. I don't know what else. We could maybe Prime Catcher up the Vulpix. I don't know. I don't know that it's enough in hand to really get a knockout though. But yeah, I like the Vessel here. Get some energy in play. Just finish off the Goodra. Yeah, you do need to take some prizes and just find those Gimme Ghouls as soon as possible, really. So yeah, like I've mentioned a few times, the Heavy Ball, there's definitely room in the list. There's a few cards in there that are a little more, yeah, a little more useful, less useful, I should say, than the Heavy Ball. We'll look at that after this one. But I think it is going to be a knockout onto Goodra, taking the 2 prizes. Still leading the race, even though it's quite a rough one here. So obviously Manaphy no use in this matchup. Just going to see some energy thinned out of the deck. And again, Gholdengo will take the first knockout, lead on prizes, and could potentially win this one. I think once Vulpix set up, the match switches in favour of Arceus. But they have had to bench quite a lot just to draw cards, just to stay in the game. So that could come back to haunt them. Boss, obviously... very important in this match. The Prime Catcher, there's the Counter Catcher if they fall behind. So we will see here. Gholdengo for 1, and there is the Counter Catcher. Still no prizes taken on the side of Arceus though, so it's just going to be 2 for the knockout onto Goodra and going up 2-0 here. I think Arceus is fine. Obviously needing quite a few more energy on the Vulpix before we can attack. We do see a Nest Ball here. Double checking the hand before they go in. I don't really know what we need here. Squova. I can't even remember if we have Squova in the list at this point. I know it's a card that we were talking about playing, but we might have added it after this one. So maybe it's just going to be another Vulpix or maybe another Bidoof. Okay, another Vulpix is fine. It is more prizes, more easy prizes for the Gholdengo player should they boss it up. So we are going to... Oh, there is a Judge in hand, so we should be fine here. Going to be the Attachment and Judge. So many cards on the side of Gholdengo. The only way, really, I would say, to beat Gholdengo is Judging constantly, Iono in. There's not many decks that want to do that. Obviously, you're putting your hand down so low. But this is one of the few that does. Doesn't need many cards to work, and also it's got the Bibarel on the bench, just drawing more and more cards should they need them. Just eyeing up the Ultra Ball here. Thinning the hand slightly. Obviously, Bibarel not been used yet, and we can still see the Vulpix come into play, which is good. We could see the Arceus maybe just bulk that up a little, make it. Yeah, Vulpix makes a lot more sense. You want to try and start attacking with this next turn. We are going to just see Arceus set it up. And obviously no knockout though, but 4 new cards is always good. Do you see the, is that the heavy maximum belt? That's it. 50 extra damage into EX Pokemon. So, and it is just going to be 180 into the Gholdengo. And obviously, Vulpix doesn't do a ton of damage, but it is going to do enough just to come in and clear that up. Yeah, there we go. So almost two Vulpix set up. Gholdengo is going to draw here. Only 5 cards in hand. Those Gholdengo's dead cards now. Obviously not enough gimme ghouls to... Oh, so boss is straight back. So we could see a boss here, but there's no way to get enough energy. We're going to need some cards off the draw here. So 2. We did see a superior, so that actually could be enough. If this Vulpix goes down now before it can get into the active and attack. Counter catcher's not online. Obviously not taking any prizes is a little awkward. Obviously Gudra's stranded at the start. We've just seen an attack from Arceus. The thing is, the deck's behind, but because of Vulpix, it can just checkmate a deck, so there's no way around it, which is what this deck is going to aim to do here with Vulpix. We are going to see Superior here, but I don't think they can stretch and get enough energy. Superior coming down. Thinking about it. There's a few cards in hand they can throw away. Obviously, the Gimme Ghoul's not grabbed off the first 2 prizes, which is rough. Does mean there's going to be very few Gholdengos to work with. We are going to see an Irida instead. We are going to see a Prime Catcher here into... you could check out one of the Vulpix before they set up, and then just you need to find a way around this other one. I kind of like saving the Prime Catcher because once that Vulpix in the active, you need all of your Gust in hand. It depends what we see here. It does get a knockout and it means you're only 2 away from winning, but it does mean the checkmate is on board. Oh, and going for the Vulpix now. Okay, so we could see a knockout onto the Vulpix before it's even got going, which would be nice. I think its weakness is metal, which is going to be good here. Does mean not needing many energies. I think it's 3, which is still quite a few. It does mean you can get the attach and 3 from the Superior here, and just setting up some Palkias to attack with. Just big bulky Pokemon. Obviously still can't attack into Vulpix, so it is going to be a rough end to this game, and boss is going to be so important. I think the Prime Catcher in this sense, getting the Vulpix up, maybe they can't find the other VStar or it's prized. We are going to see... That's the Superior discarding some cards here. I don't think Counter Catcher can come online after this knockout, so there's no reason to keep that. And the Gholdengo just isn't getting set up, so... A knockout there into the Vulpix. And Gholdengo is still in this one. It's going to be promotion of the Arceus. Obviously easy to retreat. We're going to see a Bidoof come down from the Nest Ball, which is fine. They're not really going to attack into a single prizer. I mean, even the Greninja, it can't hurt the Bidoof. It can't finish off the Bibarel. So I think that's a fairly safe play here. Attachment for turn going on to the Vulpix, and do we see a way to get the V-Star here? Gonna see the maximum belt come down, so I've got to imagine we see a way, or maybe it's just a Judge and Iono. I can see the switch card in hand, but you don't really want to play that unless you're moving into the active and guaranteeing the Vulpix. Still 6 prizes needed on the side of Arceus here. But the craziest thing is it's still in the game. Like once it sets up that checkmate, then it is pretty much that. You can't win at certain points. Obviously needing certain cards. And it's not going to take much to find those cards. So it's going to be the preemptive... Oh, so we did see the V-Star come down. So switch, and we're going to see an Iono here. Which, again, is the only way to take Gholdengo down. Constantly refreshing their hand, so they've not got 15, 20, 25 cards in hand. Okay, so it's just going to be the attack. Vulpix is going to be 2-hitting all the Gholdengos, but there is 2 Gholdengos set up there, so there is a quick way to win this. As 1, 2... I mean, it is still 4 attacks, so Gholdengo is very much in this. Just a boss off one of these draws. Still not good enough. This is it's rough here. And we could potentially see Vulpix to see this game out. We are going to see Pokestop come into play. We're going to see Buddy Puffin, Ultra Ball, and Crypto go into the discard. Not great. Obviously able to stack that boss or something on top of the deck. And just sort of make yourself Iono proof. I guess Judge could still get around it, but we've seen a few played already. And it is a thinker here for Gholdengo. Not able to just keep grabbing energies and swinging for big damage. Vulpix says there'll be none of that. The ability just shutting it down entirely. We do see the Palkia come down. The VStar is still online, so we could see that. Just able to get some energy in play. Again, just can't attack though, so... I mean, Greninja could over 2 turns, but it's just going to get knocked. Yeah, I don't see the win condition here. I think the only way is the boss. Counter Catcher's not online, so I think the one of... or there's 2 boss. I don't think any have been thrown away yet, so there is still ways out of it. But the last 2 prizes must be the Gimme Ghouls, which is... there's 1 boss there for sure in the deck. I think it might just be the 1 boss left. So maybe 1 was for... no, okay, so there's 2 boss left in deck. So there's plenty of options. Even if they take a few turns to do this, just set up your hand as much as you can. Hopefully not... hopefully not. But it's just going to be superior off the Irida. And this could be rough. So we are going to see Superior played. Is there a Gust in hand? I guess if not, the energy goes back into the deck, but I think you would rather have Superior to grab it into hand rather than the energy. Okay, so Greninja is going to be able to draw more cards, so we can just set up that boss for the following turn. And that's all they need. They need 1 boss, and I guess they need a ton of energy. But if that Arceus doesn't evolve up, and we don't see any Ponchos come down, then it's not going to be much. It's just going to be a pass here, so there is an extra turn for Vulpix. We're going to see an energy come onto the Bibarel, so that can't be stranded the following turn. I think Iono coming down, so we do need to see the evolve onto this Arceus V. I think that's possibly the only way Gholdengo can win. Not many cards left in deck though, and no prizes drawn yet is the other thing, so they're just seeing so many cards. I do see the V-Star on the end there, so we have got a way to protect the bench here. I guess Gholdengo could, because it's got 2 bosses, go for the single prizes, sorry, and just win the game that way. And it is going to be a swing for the Vulpix. 2 prizes going over to Arceus. Gholdengo still working out how to win this one. Palkia is the promotion here. And we're going to see the Pokestop. Oh, and one of the bosses have gone to the discard pile. That's potentially the game loss there. That's really rough. There's still quite a few cards in deck, so that feels really bad. I guess if you set up on a V-Star, there's still a way to win. They've not lost from that. It just makes things very difficult now. They're now looking for 1 card in that deck, which is obviously half the odds of what they were looking for a second ago, which doesn't feel great. But the problem is, if you keep getting Iono'd, you're not going to have many cards in hand, meaning... yeah, because the cards are gone again, so there's not much energy in hand. Just trying to think this one out. It's what I like about this deck. It's almost like a puzzle. You need to find a way to get around it, to deal with these threats, because you can't just play your normal strategy, which is, I think, like control decks and to some extent stall decks are good for the game. I do think some go too far, where like Snorlax, where you can't retreat, you can't really do much to combat that. You can't think of clever strategies. If you've not got the cards in your deck, you probably will just lose. But those like this, where you do have options with bosses, you need to be very careful when you use them. Things like that, where you can still have an impact. You just need to think on your feet, use your cards differently. It's why I like decks like this. Stuff like, I'm even a fan of like the old Seismitoad. It was a little boring for a while, but yeah, it's just a cool card. The full art is gorgeous, and it was an interesting time in the game for sure. We have got Burnett in format, and I have seen some God of War lists running with Burnett, which I might try at some point. If you do want to see that on the channel, make sure you let me know. Like I say, let me know any other decks you want to see as we come to the end of this match. Can Gholdengo find the answer? Currently, it doesn't look like it. They're going to need to... it is going to be the pass. As long as there's no boss in hand for Arceus... oh, I can see the boss. I can see the boss. Means Palkia is going to be the only attacker, and it is going to mean it's just not going to be enough. There's not going to be enough. It is coming into the active. A few more cards played here. I think the fact that they've got no more Gimme Ghouls, they're not able to Super Rod. Yeah, the Gimme Ghouls feels really bad in this match because they just haven't got enough set up here. There's not enough on board. Gholdengo was the win condition here, and they've just drawn Boss off the top. Boss last turn would have won them the game. They had the Superior, they had Energy, but just one turn too late, and that does mean Vulpix VStar is back. It's going to hold off Gholdengo. Like I say, from our testing, one of the better decks in format. There is just no way to do this now, and Vulpix is going to close out this one. It means it's going to be 1-1. Video's already gone on a while. I don't want to keep you any longer. We will be playing more of these decks against other decks, so make sure you subscribe if you want to see that. If you want to see any decks in particular, drop them in the comments below. If you've made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.